Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a nice reversal today. You want to talk about a rug pull, and hats off to market makers and dealers. You did your job today. Oh my goodness. It is rare you will see that big of a rug pull and reversal with the VIX spiking as high as it went when you can't go, that's what actually caused the VIX to go this high, right? You'll see, reversals, things like that, but the VIX was just on steroids. And some people, which I'll show you the news, they point to, and I'm like, really? Like, that's it? Like, I personally thought there had to be something behind the scenes, like breaking, that we don't know about and you usually find about in after hours or something. And while I'm thinking about after hours, make sure you watch the futures, how they react tonight. Like if they go down, up, whatever it is. But the price action is extremely important. And I'll show you the chart of why that is, okay? Because something very important happened. A bunch of things important happened today, which I'm going to show you because we've been talking about it leading up to this for at least 2 weeks now. And so some of these things have finally taken place, but one very important component is missing, and we might get that remedy tonight, okay? So we'll get into that. We'll get into the sector we talked about last night. For those who watched the video, semiconductors. We highlighted it last night. I told you exactly what to watch out for, and it played out today. Okay, and so while I'm thinking about it, when it comes to NVDA, it's at 180.15 as I'm looking at it. You break 180, not good. Okay, so watch where this thing opens up tomorrow. Because remember, I should say open up tomorrow, not opens up tomorrow. But remember, we talked about NVIDIA, what happens in the last 4 out of 5 earnings. We talked about it last night. Pop, drop. And so we got to see, we got the pop, we got the drop. Is it going to continue to sell off for the next 5 to 10 days like it has in the past, the last 4 out of 5 times? That's what we got to look out for, okay? And as NVIDIA goes, most likely that's where the market's going too, right? So gotta keep that ahead. So we'll go into all that stuff right there. But I always say start off with good news. Start off with good news. Tomorrow, hey, Black Friday trade and view sale. 80% this time. That's the most it's ever been. 1 month free. I know that's how I always re-sign my account up and everything. So I'll give you that link tomorrow, just FYI. So that's the good news. Now here's the news they say absolutely spiked the VIX. When it says Morgan Stanley no longer expects December rate cut after strong U.S. jobs data. But guys, I mean, we've been talking about on this channel for like 2 weeks now. We've been tracking this, right? We already knew they were pricing this out. And it was funny is it was 28% last night. I showed you. It jumped to 40% today. And it's at 40% right now as I'm recording this. That's why I'm like, really? You sure ain't something broke behind the scenes right now? Because this is it. And we did get jobs data today. Remember, this is old jobs data. This ain't, remember, we're not getting October for a while. Okay, the unemployment rate's up to 4.4. We are in the season where, people start seasonally hiring and stuff. So again, we'll, take a look at it, but this is old data. And so the Fed will be blind, really, as I don't think they're gonna have any of this data for October or anything like that, or even November when they make this rate cut decision. Now look at, here's semiconductors, man, they were flying. Oh, I know when you look at your portfolio, you're like, woo-wee. I know I was like, look at this right here. Woo, look at AMD, 6.67%. NVIDIA over 5, baby. MU is still doing its crazy stuff. SMI, AVGO, we covered all these last night. Oh, what the heck? I mean, you can't even see AMD. It's down in the far right corner because it was such a pathetic performer and such a huge reversal. And it's way down the bottom right there now. But you saw MU drop 8%. So again, you have to add the gains with reversal. So you're talking about some of these went from 10 to 15% type reversals here. It was not good. But we talked about SMH. We highlighted this last night. So watch this trend line. This is what you're seeing on so many of these. Now, it came up here, rejected off of that trend line, came down, broke this, took out that big October low candle, but it did not take out the October lows. It bounced right at it. Okay, so it is at a bounce point now. If this level is broken, we're going to start talking about this because it is a good bounce point. But if this level is broken, you can see that gap down below. You can see where it would be a great bounce point from there. If we decide to start getting some discounts here, because remember, an engulfing candle on the way up, to me, it ain't the same on the way down. All right, so you got to kind of look at that. And I do love the symmetry of this chart, by the way. And so if it breaks, right down there is where your gap is. Right around like 300 would be a great bounce point. If you're able to get it down that far, I mean, that would be nice. I mean, this thing's been on a freaking tear, okay? It could go lower, no doubt. Could bounce from here and start heading back up. And so a lot of these are breaking these trend lines. Now they're coming back up. Some of them have rejected off those same trend lines. And you can see this was dip buyers today again. Just thank you, sir, may I have another, because there wasn't hardly any bounce points today. Now, there was some green. Retailers, defensive stocks, healthcare stocks, I mean, Walmart did great today. Had its earnings. Again, I keep saying, as I say in the morning news brief, it depends on what the story is. For every one I can show you going up, I can show you 2 more going down. And so Walmart's just one of them where money flowed today. Looked nice. And you go over in the sector and you see consumer discretionary. Utility is not as defensive as it used to be just because of all, what they're saying about energy and stuff. And then there's a lot of healthcare stocks did really well too. But you can see Target. Look at Target. What a piece of garbage. Look at that thing. I feel bad for anybody sitting in this stock, unless you're buying like right now, maybe in dollar cost averaging down. But if you're like, 200 or above, my God. I mean, it's just brutal. It's just totally different. I think they announced more layoffs this week, didn't they? But you look at Ross. Look at Ross. This thing reports after the bell. Maybe it tanks. But as of now, coming into this week, it was like almost getting ready to set a new all-time high, not 52-week high, all-time high, which is just crazy when you think about it. But that one's doing well. And then you look over here at TJX. They reported this morning. Look at this thing. Look at this trend line. Woo! That thing is just trending up, isn't it? You think that's a freaking tech stock. So clearly, they know what they're doing. They're running their business. And this is just another one where it's like, oh, okay, cool. Another all-time high. There you go. So again, for everyone going up, I'm going to show you one going down. Seems to be company by company, but money is definitely rotating to some of those stocks, okay? Look at your Eli and Lilly's, your Johnson & Johnson's, that kind of stuff. Now, a huge move up today. Oh my goodness, the gap was enormous. It was a cliff, and it was so funny. I put this in the Discord like 11:10 when we were looking at the charts and the RTH gaps, and it's like, it looks like these charts are about to fall off into the abyss right now, and you can see them. I mean, both of them are identical. This is SPY. The other one's QQQ. And I posted these pictures like walking up to the edge of a cliff and trying to like balance on the edge, and then boom, who knew? It's like, oh my God, and just implosion. And here's the kicker. What do we talk about? It would be so inefficient not to take all these lows out. And guess what we finally did? Took them all out, and a little bonus, filled a little gap there to the left. Hope you can see that. What else we've been talking about? It seems like forever is the moving averages. So we'll switch to the weekly, and you can clearly see the 20-week moving average got hit. Okay, so we did touch today. Been quite a while, a number of weeks. Oh boy, finally. And we talked about last night. ES already hit it yesterday, and Q as well hit it. And normally they hit it in the same week. There are some very rare occasions where that does not happen, but for the most part, 95% of the time, if ES and NQ hit it, so is SPX. So you finally get that. And finally take that one off our back now. Took out the October lows. And of course, the VIX. And supposedly like right here is when that whole JP Morgan thing came out, or Morgan Stanley, whoever it was. And then boom, this explosion up. I mean, huge move up. And so again, here we are, negative gamma once again. And you can see every time we try to get off the mat, we hit down. And you can see those levels. I mean, it's, that's a huge engulfing candle. And like I said, huge engulfing candle there, but we were on the way up. So we'll see. It's going to be the same. I don't usually find them to be the same when you're in a downtrend versus an uptrend. But, I haven't totally researched it out. So let me know if you have any information on that. And when we look at our RSI and MACD, looking at the momentum, as we've talked about on the daily, are not oversold on the daily. MACD is trying to get below that 0 line. Not there yet. On the 4-hour, it is. 1 hour, you can see what's going on over there. But the weekly is what we've been focusing on, right? And so had that bearish MACD cross, but the RSI isn't below 50 yet. So keep that in mind. But it's curled over, okay, which is not a good thing. And we finally got our official 5% move back at least, or normal 5% move back in quite a while. Okay, so that's a plus. It's a normal thing actually. So that's what we're going to look at. The Qs right now, I believe they're down around 8%. So might get a double digits. That's a great bounce point right there. That white line right there, which put down about 8.5% if that was the case. If SPX want more, around 64.86 right there. Will be something to watch out for if it wants to go down even further. But this is what I want you to watch out for. So I'm going to be watching very carefully tonight. And some I want to watch where we open up and see what happens to the market. It is OPEX, and that is ES. ES did not take out the October low. NQ did, SPX did, the Qs have, but not ES. And so something very important to watch out here for, to see if it happens overnight, see if it happens tomorrow. It doesn't have to happen. Okay, it can be inefficient that way. That's fine. but I definitely want to see if that's going to happen. You can see now I did go to and I need to see if this is right tomorrow, because the move, which is the volatility index for the bond market, is always 1 day behind. It actually went down today, not up, but I got to see what it says in the morning, which is kind of weird. HYG in this area we already talked about, where it's in kind of a bounce point, it actually held up really well today. And then you got the high yield index option adjusted spreads. Remember, this is trailing up, all right, slowly, just kind of going up slowly. But when these are going up and spreads are widening, that is not, it puts pressure on the market, okay? Even with small moves, doesn't really matter. And it's not this, you need a real event to see like that crazy spike, but it's just slowly grinding these spreads up, and that is creating pressure on the market. You can see right here on on SPY, if you put it over here, you'll see what I'm talking about. They have an inverse relationship, okay, as you can see. And so right there, you can see the big move down. Anytime there's any move up, the market goes down, with a 0.5%, 1%, whatever. But you can see as this has been moving up, the SPX has been selling down. It's nothing to get crazy about right now. And normally it's going to be an event somewhere else that's going to happen overnight that causes this. This is what happened in the March, April move down, happened overnight in another area overseas, and then of course, boom, we had that huge spike. So something we're watching out for. And again, you move the move index with the VIX, and you can see normally they move together, right? So you get these big spikes. Doesn't mean the bond market can see is much different. But as of now, TradeView says the move went down. If you have something different in your chart, let me know. That's why I want to check this tomorrow. It was kind of weird to see that huge spike up and go, really? The bond market, nothing going on over there? That's kind of interesting, okay? Now, as far as earnings, you got BJs right there. As far as data, you got flash manufacturing PMI, services PMI, and consumer sentiment. So please put your questions for tomorrow's video in the comments. I'll get started on those for you. Please hit that like, subscribe button on the way out. Let me know any stocks you are shopping for, what levels you're looking to buy at. Be more than happy to share that with other people if you want me to. And please think about signing up with the membership. Unless the McDonald's combo at $7.99. So everything you get with it. Just hit the first link down the bottom. And I will see you on Saturday to answer all your questions, and Sunday to set up the week, which should be very interesting. So have a good one, guys.